You're 25. You have a job. You're paying your bills. Cool. Adulting. We love that for you. And somewhere between your rent stress, that one subscription you keep meaning to cancel, and the group chat planning a trip you absolutely cannot afford but are still reacting like you're financially stable, there's this thing floating around in the back of your head. The Roth IRA. You've heard of it. And every time it comes up, you think, yeah, I should look into that. And then you don't. You've got actual problems, real expenses, stuff that actually feels urgent. You figure you'll start when you're making real money, when it finally feels worth it. Here's the thing, though. Every month you wait isn't just a month of missed savings. It's a month of missed compounding. The math of starting early is one of the few things that works completely in your favor. Funny how that goes. My name's Jack, and at 24, I was telling myself I'd open a Roth IRA when I was making more money. Next month, next raise, next time I felt ready. I waited 2 years. Then I ran the numbers on what those 2 years actually cost me. And yeah, we're going to talk about that. In the last video, I walked you through the payday stack, and step 3 was putting $50 into a Roth IRA every payday. Some of you might ask why $50 even matters. Fair question. So today, I'm showing you exactly what's happening to that money every single month and what ignoring it is quietly costing you. Once you see the numbers, you're probably going to want this set up before this video ends. The reason this gets ignored for so long isn't because people are lazy, it's because the default advice is just wrong. And most people in their 20s go like, I'm still young. Retirement? Nah, too far off to plan for, if I even make it there. So they follow the usual advice. Get everything sorted first, pay off debt, build savings, land a better salary, and then, once your financial life looks somewhat put together, start thinking about retirement. It sounds responsible. It feels productive. Very, I have my life together coded. It's also quietly sabotaging you. Then there's the other one. The $50 a month is pointless. Why bother energy? The I'll wait until I've got something worth putting in logic. Both feel reasonable. Both are very expensive. And the reason most people don't realize how expensive, nobody actually showed them what compounding does over time. Not school, not HR, not that onboarding call where someone rambled about dental coverage for 40 minutes and then ran your retirement options like it was the end of a YouTube ad. Like, be serious. So on paper, it feels like you're being smart. In reality, you're just delaying the one thing that actually makes the biggest difference. And this is where things start to flip. Two things are quietly working in your favor right now, and most people your age don't fully understand either of them. First, the account itself. The Roth IRA is probably one of the most useful financial tools the government has accidentally made available to people in their 20s. Here's the deal. You put money in from your paycheck, already taxed, nothing fancy. It grows completely tax-free. And when you pull it out at retirement, zero tax. Not on what you put in, not on the gains, not on decades of growth. Zero. And here's the part that actually matters. This thing is most powerful when you're young and earning less. Right now, on a $40K salary, you're in a lower tax bracket. That's the best time to use it. Later, when you're making more, the government also wants more. Funny how that works. So the window is open right now. Every month you ignore it, it gets a little smaller. Second thing, compounding. And I know that word alone makes your brain want to exit the tab. But stay with me for a second. None of this really lands until you look at the numbers. Because once you see what even small amounts actually turn into, the whole $50 doesn't matter idea dies immediately. All right, let's run it. You're putting in $50 a month. That's $600 a year. Step 3 of the payday stack, the one that happens automatically before your brain goes, oh cool, I have money. At an 8% annual return, which is pretty standard for a broad market index fund over time, year 1 earns you about $48 in interest. So now you've got $648. Life-changing. Truly. Yeah, I know. That's like 2 I deserve this Uber Eats orders and a coffee, which is exactly why your brain writes this off instantly. Stick with me. Year 2, another $600 goes in. Now here's where things start to shift even if it's small. The 8% isn't just applied to the $1,200 you've contributed, it's applied to everything in the account, including the interest from year 1. So instead of earning $96 like simple interest would give you, you earn about $99. The difference? $3. Yeah, $3. Not exactly inspiring, not quite quit your job money. This is usually where people mentally check out and go, yeah, I knew this wasn't doing anything.
That's the trap, because here's what people miss. That gap doesn't stay small. It compounds too. By year 5, that difference has grown to about $42. By year 10, you're getting about $215 in a single year from the same $600 you've been putting in the whole time. By year 20, it's over $1,400 in a single year. This is where it stops looking small and starts looking dangerous to ignore. You know that moment in finance videos when the chart suddenly goes full hockey stick, where one line shoots up and the other one just kind of stays there like, I'm trying my best? Yeah, that's this. For the first 10 years, it looks boring. Your contributions and your returns are basically neck and neck, and your brain goes, see, nothing's happening. I knew this was pointless. And then, around year 10, something shifts, and the interest line starts pulling away. Slowly at first, then faster, then it just doesn't stop. By year 15, it's generating more than what you're putting in. By year 30, it's doing most of the work, and your contribution line is just sitting there like, hey, I started this. That's the mechanic. That's what nobody shows you. So in real numbers, $50 a month starting at 25 over 30 years at 8% lands you roughly $68,000 by the time you're 55. You put in $18,000, the market turned it into $68,000. While you were working, sleeping, scrolling, didn't matter, it just ran. That's the same $50 that disappears into, I'll just grab a mocha latte, and then you're staring at your balance like, where did it even go? At least this version leaves a receipt. Now scale it slightly. $100 a month gets you to roughly $136,000. $200 a month, which is realistic after a couple of pay raises, gets you to roughly $272,000. $250,000 from $200 a month. Just let that land. Now, here's where it hurts. What if you wait until 35? Same $200 a month, same market, just 10 years later. Now you're at about $118,000 by 55. And the difference? $154,000. Gone. Not because you made a bad decision, not because you invested wrong, just because you started later. That's a car. That's a house deposit. That's options. And every month you don't start right now, you're choosing the version of your future with less of those options. Not because you can't afford $50, just because the account isn't open yet. So now you've seen the curve. Let's bring this back down to real numbers, the kind you can actually picture in your own life. $50 a month starting at 25 gets you to roughly $68,000 by 55. $100 a month gets you to roughly $136,000. $200 a month lands around $272,000. All of it tax-free. Now take that same $200 and start at 35 instead. You end up with about $118,000. The gap? $154,000. That's what waiting actually costs. Not in theory, in actual money that either exists or doesn't, depending on when you start. And here's the part nobody expects. When you set this up, nothing changes. Like, actually nothing. The $50 moves automatically on payday. You don't even feel it. It never sits in your account long enough to become spending money. It just goes, like it always does. Except this time, it's not disappearing. It's building something. And then you just live your life. Same job, same routine, same overpriced groceries. Except in the background, something is quietly compounding. The people actually building something in their 20s aren't doing anything extreme. They're not waking up at 5 a.m. journaling about passive income. They set up one automatic transfer. That's it. You were never behind. You just never saw the chart. And once you understand that, it raises a very obvious question. The Roth IRA has been around since 1997, built specifically for regular people, not hedge fund managers, not people with insider knowledge, just normal people. So why didn't we learn this in school? We learned the area of a trapezoid. We learned long division like our lives depended on it. And yet nobody sat you down and said, here, open this account, put whatever you can in it, and don't touch it for 30 years. No one cared to mention the Roth IRA. Not once. Almost 27 years. Still a mystery to most 25-year-olds. It's fine. I'm sure the trapezoid will come in clutch any day now. So yeah, we missed that one. Let's fix it.
Here's what you actually need to do. Open a Roth IRA. Any major brokerage. Takes about 10 minutes. 15 if your Wi-Fi decides to act up at the worst possible moment. Pick a broad market index fund. Something simple. Something boring. Don't pick individual stocks. Don't try to outsmart the market. You won't, respectfully. Set up an automatic contribution, whatever step 3 of your payday stack allows. $25, $50, $100. Set it for payday so it moves before you get ideas. Then close the app. Seriously, don't check it every week. Don't panic when the market dips. It will dip. That's just how this works. Let it run. The version of you at 55 with $272,000 in a tax-free account and the version of you at 55 with nothing didn't make wildly different choices. One of them set this up at 25. The other one meant to. Don't be the one who meant to. And once this is running, you've basically handled one of the most important pieces of your financial life in under 10 minutes a month. Next video, what $1,500 rent actually costs on a $40K salary. Not the number on the listing, the actual damage, and the income you realistically need before living alone makes sense. Spoiler, it's not where most 23-year-olds are right now. Not even close. If you want to be the person in your friend group who actually understands this stuff, not just sends TikToks about it, subscribe. I put one of these out every couple days.